Here we are. It's Thursday night, the last night of the Joe and Joe Weather Show for the work week. And we have autumn weather. I mean, that's only the only way you can really describe it as we head toward Friday and into the weekend. Doesn't even look like we're going to get that much in the way of rain come Sunday. So most of the weekend could wind up being dry, and actually most of the eastern United States remains on the dry side. So let's get right to it on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is brought to you by Amazon, Joe. Yes, if you shop on Amazon, use our referral link. It's on the descriptor to this podcast under YouTube. It's a great way to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast because we don't charge subscriptions here. So if you shop on Amazon and go there via our referral link, Amazon throws us some coin out of their pocket, not yours, so it doesn't cost you a cent. And it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, the live version, commercial free. And we thank those of you who have supported us here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this tonight is pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the description to this podcast. There's a coupon code. And our version of Kenny Williams will now tell us what that coupon code is.
That coupon code, Joe, is Summers 2025. And thanks to Rich Rothmansky, who's already posted it on the chat board, should you use that particular coupon code, you will get 10% off anything from Tempest.
All right. Good evening, all, on this Thursday night. And of course, Joe, we're going to start off this Thursday night with our new sponsors.
Okay.
Okay. So we have new sponsors tonight, folks, too. So we want to give them a mention. First off, if you do laundry, you need Drowny. Titanic size makes enough suds to flood the Empire State Building.
You'll never concentrate again.
Right. And of course, you'd save money if you get the extra large 1,064 fluid gallon bottle. That's Drowny fabric softener. And Blunder Bread, extra heavy bread. Build your body just by lifting the package. So get your nutrition and start your day with Blunder Bread.
Blunder Bread.
And for those of you who are probably under the age of 50, you may not know what these are. These were called wacky packages, and they were a satire on all the various products that are out there. And you got a free stick of gum when you bought the package. So,
you remember with Wonder Bread, they used to say Wonder Bread, Wonder helps build strong
bodies 12 ways.
12 ways. And they used to have like a time lapse. They'd show you like a little kid, like 4 or 5 years old, and you'd see it getting bigger and bigger over the passage of time, assuming that, you were watching him as he was eating his Wonder Bread. So it was a wonder.
It was. It certainly was. All right. We better get some weather going on because it's like pulling.
I got to tell you, you're giving it the good old.
On this show these last 3 weeks.
You're giving it the good old college try by trying to make things entertaining because you're absolutely right. There's hardly anything to talk about weather-wise, locally or even nationally.
There is. You look at the watches and warnings map tonight, which I'll put up on the screen right now. I mean, it's not that we wish for anything bad to happen. Obviously, we don't wish for anything bad to happen weather-wise. But in the normal course of things, it's pretty unusual to have a long stretch like this where nothing's happening just about anywhere. There was some flash flood watches up in western Colorado and in north central and northwest New Mexico. There's a couple of counties in central Idaho. There's a couple of counties in central Oregon that have flash flood watches up. But Everybody else, it's just a snooze fest. Although we do have frost advisories for northernmost New Hampshire and northwestern Maine. That's it. As far, and even Alaska, there's just like one little patch there. I can't recognize that color. Oh, that's a winter weather advisory. Shall we investigate?
Why not?
Okay, so let's see. So this is for south of Fairbanks. A winter weather advisory is in effect. So let's see what this winter weather advisory is. McKinley Park Airport and their airline their airport code, Joe, is PAIN, PAIN. I don't know who came up with that one. 43 degrees with light rain, and let's see, less than an inch, less than a half inch, less than a half inch in the three forecast periods. And in the advisory, they're saying snow expected of total accumulations of 2 to 4 inches in the Denali Borough from 10 o'clock tonight to Atlantic time. Alaska time, to 7 a.m. Saturday. So that's a long period, long duration winter weather advisories for a few inches of snow. So there you go. That is really all I can help you with tonight as far as adverse weather is concerned. And as we look at the satellite loop, you had a nice day up there. I had a beautiful day down here.
Well, it was gorgeous. We had lots of blue skies, some thin, high clouds invading our skies during the midday and afternoon. Did very little to cause any problems weather-wise. Lots of sunshine and temperatures. I'm not sure if here in Putnam Valley we hit 80, but if we probably came awfully close if we didn't hit 80. Tomorrow it'll be actually a few degrees cooler than what we were at today, but still a lovely day with northeasterly winds and a fair amount of sunshine. I think I'm going to get an update from Mrs. Rayo. I just heard the kitchen chair move back
Oh,
because that's what she's
well,
watching.
while she's giving you an update, AAYT hit the tip jar tonight. Thank you, AAYT. And he says, always loved the show. Was just on the New Jersey Weather Observers meeting, and guest speaker Dave Curran was singing your praises, Joe Rayo.
Dave Curran and I worked at News 12 Westchester for a number of years, and Dave actually, after I left News 12, Dave at News 12 New Jersey won an Emmy. So he is a very talented man and still there, I suppose, at News 12 New Jersey. And I thank Dave. Dave said some very nice things in an email to me when I announced I was leaving News 12 Westchester. He was in shock, actually, but but he still had some very nice things. So it's nice to know. Nice to know I didn't make any. Nice to know I didn't make any enemies when I parted company at my former place of employment.
Well, yeah, Oh, what are you going to do? Radars are quiet from Maine to North Florida. We got some rain and some heavier downpours in South Florida today. They seem to be concentrated more in the west and north of Lake Okeechobee, and that's it. The Gulf states are very quiet. There are just a couple of very light showers widely scattered. Two of them are actually near me in North Georgia. One in northern Alabama, another one in northeastern Louisiana, and then a few other speckles here and there. The activity is a bit heavier and a little more widespread as we go west into southeast Arizona and up through northwest New Mexico and western Colorado. There's more west of I-25 than there is east of I-25. Got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that have popped up in western Nebraska. Showery rains in Wyoming, showers and some thunderstorms occurring across Montana and Idaho, as well as parts of Nevada and into eastern Oregon. The Storm Prediction Center, no severe thunderstorm watches are up as of 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and the only place you might see one is in that slight risk zone from eastern Montana to western North Dakota. We've got a marginal risk tomorrow for eastern Montana, northern South Dakota and all of North Dakota, even a small sliver of northwestern Minnesota. And day three, which is Saturday into Sunday, we've got two marginal risk areas up and down the plains, the northern plains and the western plains, all the way down to New Mexico. So there you have it with respect to severe weather. As That is also, well, I mean, it usually is subdued when once we get into September, especially in a pattern like this where you really don't have any big cold fronts running around. And take a look at the 7-day rainfall forecast map. Now, I assume that the zero point zero 0.01 to 0.10 inches that's being forecasted in areas in eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York State, and New England uh, is from Sunday's weather system, which from yesterday, where it looked like there might be some more robust activity with some showers, now it's all fallen apart and it looks fairly minimal. And I think that's really the way to go. When you have a dry pattern like this, uh, you got to respect the fact that it's a dry pattern. And oftentimes, what happens is that models kind of get really bullish on something with regards to precipitation, and then as you get closer and closer to the actual days that you're worried about, you see less and less and less, and that's I think what's happening here. It's just too dry.
Speaking of, could you give me share capabilities? Because we're getting a request today. Of course, it's Thursday, and it's the day when the U.S. Drought Monitor map has been updated. And so I thought we'll take a look.
Let me hold on. I got to switch the the screen, and while I'm switching the screen, Birder Lady hits the tip jar. Thank you, Birder Lady, for hitting the tip jar tonight. And there you go. Drought yourself away, Mr. Rail. I'm
Well,
gonna go. I'm gonna go search for some new sponsors in the meantime.
all righty. And he can probably find a few in the short. So most, broadcast outlets, take time to woo a sponsor to come to them and sign on with them. But Joe, I know Joe could probably find two or three new sponsors between now and the end of the show tonight. Anyway, for those of you who are wondering, this is the updated drought monitor for New York State. And as you can see, we have all of Long Island, Westchester, Rockland, most of Orange County, and I guess you could say the southern part of Putnam County in the DO intensity category, abnormally dry. Abnormally dry, not a drought so much so, but just abnormally dry. But you don't have to go too far. I mean, just to the north, I think somebody made the comment, I forgot who it was on the chat board, about Ulster County being exceptionally dry. Well, I have news for you. According to this drought monitor, Ulster County, as well as Sullivan County and Dutchess County, they are out in the clear right now. They do not have any drought problems to speak of, according to this map. And you have to go further up north, up toward, let's say, the Albany area, to get into a D1 or moderate drought situation as you travel north along the Interstate 87 path. And further up north, up not quite to the Canadian border. I think this might be including, no, it doesn't. The Essex County is not within the Plattsburgh area. Plattsburgh is in Clinton County. But if you're in Essex County, you actually have a zone. Northern Essex County is under a severe drought, a D2. Areas to the west, exceptionally dry to moderate drought. But again, I would say that maybe about 40% of New York State has no drought problems to speak of. But again, right here in the immediate New York City area, it's mostly just abnormally dry, although I think I can detect in portions of Queens and Brooklyn that shade, that salmon shade of moderate drought may be in evidence. So maybe in parts of New York City proper, moderate drought is occurring, but again, it's not anything horrendous, at least not just yet. Tune in again next week, and we'll see how things progress. If we have a dry week, as we may very well have, things may be a bit worse. Here's the northeastern United States. And you could see that the places that are in dire need of wet weather is up across portions of central New England, where it apparently is in the D2 or severe drought situation. And in fact, right here in New Hampshire, I'm going to find out what that. Let me just find out what is that. That is Grafton County. So in southern sections of Grafton County, they have an extreme drought in effect as of right now. So they are in dire need of some wet weather. And again, meanwhile, as you go to the south, southern New England, either no drought at all or just abnormally dry. Same for southern sections of New York State, eastern sections of Pennsylvania, and southern sections of New Jersey. No drought problems at all at the moment. And I find that ironic because if you remember, when we moved into the summer season, late spring and early summer, down here across southern Jersey, they were in the extreme drought zone. But over the course of what turned out to be a relatively wet June and July and early August, that pretty well did away with the drought down there. But again, we're in a dry period now, and so we'll see how things progress over the next few weeks. As far as the rest of the country is concerned, well, you can see that while there's drought in portions of the eastern United States, let's say east of the Mississippi, ranging from um, uh, dry to severe drought. The places that are really suffering are out to the west, the western third of the country, where in portions of Washington State, northern sections of Idaho, a sliver of western Montana, also portions of western and southern Wyoming, northwestern Colorado, portions of Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada. These areas are the ones that are experiencing extreme drought and certainly can use the moisture. Of course, a couple of months from now, we'll be into the wet season out there, and hopefully the atmosphere will be gracious to throw a few atmospheric rivers in the direction of the Pacific coast, spread eastward, and help to alleviate the drought. But this is the way it usually is. Wet, certainly wet enough during the winter, and then as we progress into the spring and summer and early fall, you get the areas that were okay with hardly any drought problems. You see them dry up very quickly, and that's what's happened out in the western half or the western third of the United States. And that's how it looks right now, Joe.
All right. And in the meantime, the going back to the rainfall forecast from WPC for the next 7 days. Basically, it's up the Rockies, the southern and central Rockies, and covering the central and northern plains, with areas of anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half, with the exception being up in North Dakota and extending northward into Canada, where we have an area there of 2.5 to 3 inches plus, which is impressive enough. Not too much in the Southwest, very dry in the Gulf states, very dry in the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, very dry for me, and that means I still got to be watering out there. So, looking at the overall pattern, or just to take a quick look at the upper air here, there's not much really that's changing. There's a trough off the southeast coast at the end of this week, and that accounts for the moisture that's over Florida. And then out in the Atlantic, we also have a little trough that's moving into through Labrador that extends down into northern New Jersey. So that's bringing down dry air from eastern Canada. It's not particularly cool air, but it's dry. And then over the weekend, a little bit of a ridge builds in the lower lakes and in the upper Ohio Valley. There's a cutoff low in the southeast, and there's also a cutoff low in Idaho, where you got energy that's been coming in with some troughing there in the west. But over time, it's just this sort of indifferent pattern. We see the westerlies getting a little bit more involved, maybe about 10 days or so from now and beyond, and getting more troughing and cooler air into the eastern part of the United States by the time we get toward, let's say, around September 23rd to the 26th. But I mean, I really don't see anything here that says, big rainstorm coming on the way, and certainly no There's nothing in the tropics really to speak of. Before I do the surface, Joe, we have Quiet John extending condolences to Charlie Kirk's family and putting some money in the tip jar. Thank you, Quiet John. Thank you very much. That's twice this week. You are very generous indeed.
And I would agree with you about Sunday because Sunday we have a weather
But
front
you
that goes
wouldn't agree about it being generous.
on. Well, Quiet John. Quiet John, I would agree, is always generous to
Yes,
us.
he is. God bless him.
It's almost like a member of my own family.
Oh,
But anyway,
you might say that.
yeah, I might. Uh, the cold front on Sunday is relatively dry and is working its way through our area during the day on Sunday. And again, I wouldn't say we're going to see much more than a tenth of an inch of precipitation from that during the day on Sunday. And once that front goes on by, we go back to a spell of dry weather again for the early part of next week. We didn't get anything yesterday, and it doesn't look like we're going to get very much on Sunday. So it looks like we're really into a spell of dry weather, dry and fine weather, taking us right on into at least the first half of next week.
I mean, if you believe the European, the first chance for anything substantial is around September 23rd. I mean, that's 12 days from now. In the meantime, it's just highs coming down into eastern Canada and working their way into the northeastern mid-Atlantic states, and it's just one after another after another. Very late in the period where you start to get more troughing into the east, you start to see a little bit more action. But again, it's nothing really anything to write home about. And we'll just quickly check the tropics here because I don't know that we have we don't have too much going on here. The Hurricane Center has been highlighting a disturbance that's going to be moving off the African coast tonight and Friday, and it tries to, weakly spin it up there in the central tropical Atlantic, and then takes it northwestward and keeps it weak, going well to the northeast of the Leewards and eastern Bermuda. Then there's another wave behind that that tries to come out, but really doesn't develop very much. So, I don't know, Joe. It's just to me, it's just a continuation of the same old story. You got too much dry air out in the Atlantic Ocean. So, uh, don't I wouldn't expect the tropical storm activity to rev up anytime soon, based on what I'm looking at here.
Now, do you still have plans? Yeah, I think we talked about this off air concerning Sunday.
Um, you know what? I think we should take off Sunday since we're going to come back on and pretty much say the same thing. Yeah, I'm looking here at the wind shear profile in the tropical Atlantic. I mean, I suppose you could make a case that in some areas there in the major development region where they're marginally conducive for tropical cyclone development, but there's so much shear in all directions around anything that's out there. So it's hard to imagine how you're going to get anything to form, at least from what we're seeing right now. It's hard to be enthused today, but it's very difficult when there's a lot of weather around. You've got a lot of information that you have to juggle, and you're constantly going from one thing to another. But when the weather's like this, it's great, it's beautiful, but it makes it a little bit tough to do a show and say it's sunny everywhere. But you know what? Sometimes that happens.
We'll see. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Tom Contina wants to know if anybody has the scoop on what went down with me. What are you talking about? When
Well,
does he come up with this stuff? What is he talking about?
well, I did see something you made a you did thank Christopedia for something saying you said thanks
Oh,
for checking up.
yes. Yeah. Well, you know what, Joe? I didn't even want to bring this up. I made a post about it. If you if you're on Facebook and you're friends with me on Facebook and you haven't read it, go read it. I really I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. because it doesn't do you any good. So anyway, um, here we go. Time for Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
Surely,
Okay, and tonight's Briller Jeopardy category is drum
the
roll,
God.
please. The Odd Couple. The
Oh,
Odd
okay.
Couple. You
All
know,
right.
The Odd Couple was one of those shows where I might have seen a bunch of episodes once, maybe twice, but other than that, no. When Oscar tried computer dating, who did he get set up with?
Who did he get set up with?
Yes.
Well, the illusion here is that it might have been somebody who was well known and or famous. I really don't. I enjoyed watching The Odd Couple. I thought it was a very funny show, but I'm not on the same plane with The Odd Couple as I am, let's say, with I Love Lucy or The Honeymooners. So I really don't know. Maybe somebody out there on the chat board would know.
Well, Alan Rupa got the answer right, and that is Felix's wife.
Really? How do you like that,
Yes.
apples, folks?
Um, the chairman, Scott Briller, by the way, hitting super chat now too. Thank you, Scott. And Weather Briller Jeopardy will be back on Sunday. Okay, he was going to probably talk about snow. He says so. We'll see how that goes. Um, okay, next question. Felix's daughter followed Paul Williams to what town? Felix's daughter followed Paul Williams to what town?
I hate to say this. Now I'm going to sound stupid. So who was Paul Williams?
Yeah, 70s guy, Joe. 70s. I don't even know how to describe him. I know who he is. I mean, I know what he looks like, but I don't even know I don't know what he actually did.
All right, I just pulled him up on Google, and he is because he's still alive. He's an American composer, singer, songwriter, and actor known for writing and co-writing popular songs performed by a number of acts in the 1970s, including Three Dog Night's world famous An Old-Fashioned Love Song. So that was and Helen Reddy. Whatever happened to Helen Reddy? Anyway, he wrote Helen Reddy's hit "You and Me Against the World." So that's who Paul Williams was, Paul Hamilton Williams Jr. And you say that Felix's daughter followed him to some town? I don't know.
I don't see anybody on the chat board getting the answer to this one, so I am going to tell you what the answer is, and the answer is Albany.
Well,
Albany, New York.
there you go.
Okay, next question. I guess a lot of folks didn't watch the Odd Couple very much. Uh, what finally cured Felix's insomnia?
He had every health problem
Malady.
known to man, and he used to actually keep Oscar awake by honking at night. Honk, honk, honk. I don't know. Sleeping pills?
Sleeping pills. No. Christinapedia got it though. His ticking watch.
Oh, so in other words, it was like what they say for if you have a pet like a dog, or even a baby, you put a clock in the crib or in the box, and the ticking
Mhm.
supposedly calms the dog or the baby down.
Who wrote the Odd Couple theme?
Oh, da dun da dun da dun
Yeah.
dun da da da.
Who wrote
I
the
don't
Odd
know.
Couple theme? Boy, you got to really know a show to dig that deep into the weeds. I don't know that anybody's going to get this one.
John
I
Williams.
no, try. Nope. Not Neil Simon, but it wasn't Neil Tom Contino. It was Neil Hefti. What famous tennis player won Felix from Oscar on a bet?
Oh, that was Bobby Riggs, right?
That's correct. Bobby Riggs. Very good. Ring the bell for yourself.
They played Bobby Riggs up when he went up against Billie Jean King in the famous match of the tennis match of the century. And in fact, he became a charter member of Bobby Riggs's club, Riggs Pigs.
And finally, name the racing dog Oscar won in a card game.
I think it was a what? It was a Greyhound, wasn't it? I
Yeah, but what was the name of the dog?
um, I don't know. Leave the driving to us.
I don't think anybody's going to get this one. It wasn't Rover. No, no, no. The answer is golden earrings. Now, I've got a couple of questions for you, Joe. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is the name of the animal that fastens itself to you and drains you of your blood?
I don't know, but the sap runs every 2 years.
But that's one of the other questions. The collector of internal revenue. Question two. What's a senator's term of office?
The sap runs every 2 years.
Right, except that it's actually 6 years. And question three. Why did the French people put Marie Antoinette under the sharp blade of the guillotine?
Why?
To scrape the particles off her hull.
Could I please sit down? I'm feeling sick.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And on that note, maybe we should just say goodnight. And before we say goodnight, we leave you with two more of our sponsors. Tonight, we have for you. Whoops. Nope, that's not it. That's some code of mine. Hold on. What is this doing? That's my code that I use. Let's go back to this. Nope, that ain't it either. Oh, I'm having a field day tonight, technically, Joe. It's really killing me. Ah, here we go. Captain's Teeth Crunched Crunch Bearings. Sweetened corn and steel balls cereal. You'll need dentures, Captain. 18 broken teeth. And also buy 8 lives cat food, tuna bones. Uses up to 8 of your cat's lives in one meal.
Look at the poor cat.
I know. Oh, too funny. Anyway, all right. I'm sorry, folks. It's the best we can do on a night where weather's crap. I mean, it's nice, but for us weather forecasters, we want something going on somewhere, and it's just ain't
Quiet
happening.
John, by the way, is asking Joe how much salt should he buy for the winter of 2025?
How much salt? Oh,
I
gee, I
guess
don't
he's
want to. I mean, you know what? Plan for an average winter and go from there. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any sense of where we're going to be for the 3 month winter season. I never really have a good sense for where that's going.
I remember when we had a bad icing situation up here where I live, here in Putnam County, and I skidded my way to the Cortland Town Center where they have the Home Depot. Walked in, looked around, couldn't find what I was looking for, which was the ice melt. And I went up to one guy and I said, "Can you tell me where the ice melt is or where the salt is?" And he looked at me and he says, "I can tell you where it was."
Right.
Like everything was gone. The whole. So I'm not sure if we're going to have that kind of a winter, but it's always nice to have that on hand.
Yeah. Well, you better safe than sorry,
Yes.
right? I mean, it keeps it's salt. What's it going to do? You use it next year. And by the way, speaking of winter, we probably will do something at the end of the month with that charm school graduate himself, David Toleris. So I'll let you know when that's going to happen.
Is that at the end of this month, September, or
Yeah,
the
at
end
the
of
end of this
October?
month. He messaged me
Oh,
yesterday about it, so I said, sure.
okay.
You know, we let anybody on this show. All right. So everyone have a great night and a really great weekend. Stay safe. Have a lot of fun. And we'll see you back on Sunday night at 7:30. No, I'm sorry. We're taking it off. So we won't see you back on Sunday night. We'll see you back on Monday at
Okay.
7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, folks.
Bye bye.
Bye bye to all. Thank you for all of the tip jar hits too, especially Quiet John and the chairman and who else was there tonight?
The
Who
birder lady.
Birder lady.
I
Yes.
think that was it. Uh, an AAYT, with the Dave Curran message for you.
Oh
So,
yes. Okay.
w-
Well, thank you very much to all.
all right, we'll see you everybody on Monday. Bye.
Good night.